Hi, mamas. I'm here with Ashley Lambert.
King.
Oh, wait, yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, rewind. Mamas, I'm here with Ashley King, who has been she's currently head of training with her company for 12 years. And she has a daughter who is,
She's gonna be 11 months on Monday.
wow,
I know.
that's crazy.
It's crazy. I have been in the sales world for the last 12 years, like you said. I started entry level cold calling position. Never expected I was going to do sales. But that has really taken me on a journey. I went from sales to sales leadership, did sales leadership for several years. Then from there, entered into the training org. Then traveled a ton for work. I lived in San Francisco, DC, Scottsdale, Texas. Slowly made my way back here. I think I've been very, very career first forward since I graduated college. And then I just got promoted again last month. So this is my first full month as head of all pre and post-op sales training.
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of people that I had to get to know really fast.
Okay, that's a lot of moving. Did
Yeah.
you have like your mind set on certain positions to move up within the company? Were you just ambitious from the start, or how did that work?
Yeah, if you were to ask entry level position me if I would be in this role today, I would have said there's just no way. There's no way that was going to happen. I think that I've just always really focused on the current role and like how well I can do in the current role. And I'm naturally a really competitive person, a really ambitious person. And I think that doing that at this company has just opened doors and people recognize your work and have just offered me the positions over time. So I think I knew I wanted to be in leadership, but once I got into leadership, I didn't really know what path there would be to a director role and then now a head role. They really just got presented to me over time of doing really well in what I was currently doing.
Wow. Did you have a specific mentor or anything in work that helped kind of guide you or give you that advice to get there?
I think I've had a variety of mentors over the last 12 years. My first boss was the just best boss I could have possibly had. I think having a really strong female in leadership right away
that's great.
who made coming to work every single day really fun. She's just like big personality, focused on building relationships first, was also great at sales. I think I just went, I want to be like her for somebody else. And then, she's still at the company and we've still remained really close. And throughout then different stages, different bosses that I've had over time, there's things that you love about a boss that you go, I want to be that kind of person for somebody someday. And then there's things that you don't love about a boss. And I also think that in and of itself is a really good lesson of like, I never want my employees to have this experience. And so being able to take those as well, I think has formed a lot into the type of boss that I am now.
Yeah, curious because I know sometimes working for different companies, if you don't currently have that maybe mentor as a boss that you look up to, what advice or what would you recommend to someone?
Yeah, I think that we live in a world now that has so many resources. And so I've gotten a lot from people, but I also have gotten a lot from just doing my own self work, like reading a lot of books, listening to podcasts of people that I think are in those higher level leadership positions that have really good perspective. And then just using your friends as your network as well. Like you should be surrounding yourself with people ideally that have the same ambitions and same goals that you have so that they're lifting you up. If you're the strongest person in your room, you might be in the wrong room. And so I also think I've really focused on putting myself in different rooms with really successful people and building those personal friendships and those relationships.
Yeah, that's great. What podcasts would you recommend? And then maybe one or two books you'd recommend.
I'll start with books because I have way more books. I love Drive by Daniel Pink.
Okay.
I think that is a book that everybody, especially if you're in leadership, should be reading. I also think Radical Candor is a great book. Radical Candor really goes into how you can balance both being a really kind person and how you work with people, but also being direct. Like, I think that we see some bosses that are really intense and show no love. We also see some bosses that are just somebody's buddy and never tell them the hard truth. And so it really teaches you how to find that balance in between the two. Podcasts, I like the makings of a CEO.
Okay.
I like basically any podcast I think that goes into like how we built this is a great one. Just to see like how somebody took things from the ground up, I find really interesting. And then also just getting to hear those CEOs talk about how often it's not like this amazing person with this amazing idea. It's people that just worked really hard and then found a niche by realizing that it's something that they actually needed.
Yeah.
So I listen to those a lot. And then I also just like, you got to have the fun podcast too, and like the wellness podcast. I love Giggly
yes.
Squad. That's my fun podcast.
Okay. Yes. I'll have to check those out.
They're great.
Okay. And then I guess, so you've built your career. I guess what, you were 11 years into your career before Capri?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you know you were ready, and what did you envision, becoming a mom in this career that you've built? What changed? Tell me about that transition.
I don't think you can ever know that you're ready. Personally, I think that our decision to become parents really fell down to we knew we wanted kids. We knew we wanted this life experience. We also just knew that you're going to adapt. And it might sound so silly, but I think that getting dogs, honestly, early on really did help in that transition, because when do you decide that you're willing to change parts of your life or timing in your life for someone else? And watching how we just parented the dogs and like getting comfortable not being able to stay out for 10 hours because you need to come home and you need to take care of them, and thinking about their bills and their costs and like how do you bake that into the money that you're making. All those little decisions made us go, we're a really good team.
Okay.
And I think knowing that you have a really good teammate can help ease a lot of the fear that's going to come into being a parent. And then I also think I had a lot of people higher up than me at the company having kids and able to see how they balanced it. I have some really good friends in the same role as me with kids 6 months, a year, 2 years older than Capri. And I got to see how they made it work. And I think that gave me a lot of confidence too, that like, if they can do it, we can do it. We're just going to have to find our path to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Do those women that you watched, were they women you met remotely, or were they people you met in different locations that you were at?
Mainly people I met at different locations. I think that I was really scared to move because I had such a good network in San Francisco, but both moves, which were forced functions because of the job, ended up introducing me to like incredible people all over the country that have really similar lifestyle as me, right? They all have similar roles than me. They all were becoming parents. And so I've just really focused on keeping up with those relationships now that we're back in California, and that is a long distance friendship, making sure that we're still talking, we're still sharing ideas about parenthood, and we both have like made efforts to come out and see each other's kids, which has been really nice.
Yeah, that's amazing. So going into being pregnant and working, how was that experience?
I will say I loved being pregnant.
Okay.
Which I know is like not everybody's experience.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough that I didn't have crazy morning sickness.
Yeah.
The first trimester, of course, is a journey. I think that no one can tell you what fatigue is going to feel like until you're experiencing the fatigue of pregnancy. And being a working person with that fatigue was a different, I'm sure like you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like just a different challenge of like finding ways to give myself grace. I think I knew my body was doing a ton of work behind the scenes, and it was also okay that I wasn't operating at 100%. And I think that was the first kind of taste into what that probably was going to be like once I actually became a mom, of letting go of my type A 150% all day long personality, and realizing when I was working super hard, but when my body also needed a break, I was letting myself take a 15-minute power nap, pause for a second, go to bed way earlier than I typically would so that I could really rest. So first trimester was wild, but other than that, I think luckily I was lucky enough to be a work from home pregnant person, which I'm sure it's just so different for any mom that's going into the office or that has a service job where you are in there all day long. I have so much, like, I'm just in awe of any of those moms because that's a completely different atmosphere of being pregnant.
Yeah, absolutely. And such a good mindset to have. Did you have support that was reminding you of that? Hey, give yourself grace, you know, because it's like you're pushing your body, you're ambitious, you're going 100, building your career. What was that yourself just like allowing, kind of recognizing you're stepping into this and tweaking that mindset? Or like, what was the support around you like to help you get there?
Yeah, I'd say my husband was definitely the number one support of being like, I'll cook dinner tonight. I think he took a lot off my plate during pregnancy of like helping cook, helping clean, me getting comfortable, just asking for help, or realizing like we might not have that type of cooked dinner every single night. And that's also okay. So I think step one was him creating the space to let me know it was okay to ask for those things. And then also me being able to tell myself, this is just a season. Like, this is not going to feel like this forever. That's the wildest thing about pregnancy is like you can feel one way and feel like you are in the trenches. And then 2 weeks later, it can be a completely different feeling, a completely different emotion. And so I think reminding myself that when things were really tough of just worst case scenario, like this is just a season right now and it's not going to feel this way always. So, you know, listen to your body and understand like what your body needs from you right now. And I think mentally pushing myself that direction really helped a lot and really prepared me more for the postpartum side of that definitely was to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was what I was going to transition into, postpartum and that experience. How long was your maternity leave?
So I was lucky. My maternity leave, I didn't go back to work until it was on her 5th-month birthday.
Okay.
That I went back to work. I really used it all. I used all my maternity, all my baby bonding, my PTO, and my wellness just because I wanted to extend it as long as possible.
Yeah.
Which was a major, major blessing, but it also made it so much further from remembering what work version of me was like because I got so comfortable in just me and her was my only priority for the entire day for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. Aw.
I know.
Yeah. So I guess with the postpartum experience, for other moms that are maybe expecting for their first time, what about your experience, maybe a couple things you can list that you were surprised about or didn't expect going into postpartum?
I think I expected it to be so much worse than it actually was.
Yeah.
I just think that our bodies are wild in the way that they can adapt to what is needed at that time. Like if you were to tell me going into it, I was waking up every 90 minutes to 2 hours feeding this baby, I would have said, I'm going to go clinically insane. Like, and maybe I did. And maybe like, I just don't understand that I did.
Yeah.
But I do think like I was really impressed on how you can just make it work.
Adapt,
and you can just, adapt and like tackle what she needed in that moment. And the positives really outweighed the struggles for me. Like I didn't even think I understood how much like a little squeal would make you forget about an hour of crying. And you can just lean into those moments. And so I think that part was great. The part that I didn't expect that was really hard was breastfeeding. I would say like maybe people warned me. I don't think anyone warned me what the first 2 weeks of learning breastfeeding was going to feel like. And that was really tough. I think that no one can fully prepare you for what your physical pain is going to be, the emotional pain is going to be. And I also had a C-section, and so learning to walk again while you're feeding, there's just so much on the mom's plate. I think that part was a big unknown, that if I have another kid, at least I'll have a little bit more awareness of what that experience or what that version of hard is going to feel like.
Right. Yeah. I know I had the same 2 weeks brutal of the breastfeeding. I remember looking at my mom as I'm doing it. I'm like, you did not tell me how hard. Like, it was so painful. And
Yep.
she was like, I don't remember it being painful. And some women don't have a painful experience,
Yeah.
you know? So it's, every experience is just so different and latching and everything. It's just, yeah. But yeah, that for me too was a big one where, and then once I finally got through that pain, it was not hurting anymore. And then I was like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, you really have to think when it's like that tough, thick of it moment, it's temporary. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Just lean on support and push through. But
I can't
yeah.
imagine, I can't remember how many different friends, mom friends, that I texted in the first 2 weeks going, no one describes the pain of latching to you. And they're like, and everyone had the same thing, like, oh, I almost forgot, because then all of a sudden it's easy. And it is true. You just wake up one
You
day and
really
it doesn't
do.
hurt anymore. And it's actually kind of wonderful, and you really
Yes,
enjoy
you
the
bond.
experience. You
Yes.
bond. But in the first couple of days, I went, there's no way it can feel like this for a year of breastfeeding and people are surviving. But yeah, it was definitely a culture shock.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Okay, so 5 months of postpartum. It sounds like you just overall have such a good mindset when you're going through a tough challenge, and that's inspiring to like hear like how you like anything you've gone through. It's like you take it and then you just kind of learn and give yourself that grace to know it's just a moment. So it's nice to hear you talk about that. Going back into work transition, how were you still breastfeeding at 5 months too? Okay, so how, tell me about that transition back and where your mindset was there, and then of course with the new job adding that into it.
Yeah, if I were to be brutally honest, I was dreading going back to work. I didn't think I was going to dread it. When I left to leave, I went, oh, I'm going to miss my people so much. I think I actually cried on my last day of work before I started maternity, because I loved the people that I was working with and I loved what I was doing. And I went, I can't just do nothing or only be a mom. And then you go into it and you're like, oh, I love this experience. There's so much that my whole world is just me and her all day long. And the 2 weeks before I went back, I think I cried every single day. But my same friends that are at work and that have the same experience, someone texted me 3 days before and they said, it is never going to be as bad as you are making it seem like it's going to be right now. Like, you're going to probably tell yourself all the things that could go wrong, and some of them might happen, but I promise you, like, it is going to be fine. And I think I really needed that advice. And it's also so true. Like, the first week back was really tough, but every single week got easier, and you built your routine. And I found a lot of pieces of myself that I had, put aside during being just at home that you get to regain going back to work, and having those two versions of yourself is, I also think, really healthy. Like, being able to talk to adults all day long about something different, and then getting to come back and be the mom version of myself after work. I found versions of it that I really enjoyed. The tough parts was I was breastfeeding. I think that if I could look back at my previous version of myself, or if I could give myself advice as I'm going into it, it's that it's never going to go the way you think it's going to go. And that's also okay. The week before I went back to work, I put time slots in my GCal for pumping and breastfeeding, and I had it down to a complete science. And then what happened the first week? I got thrown into meetings I didn't expect. They went longer. People needed me. And I think I missed almost every single one of those GCals for when I thought I was going to pump. And I let that drive me crazy in the very beginning. I think I had wanted so much control over it. That part was really hard. And also, I work from home, and so hearing her laughing and playing in the other room, it's like, I want to see why you're laughing. I want to see why you're playing. I think I had to find that balance for myself of, it actually did more harm for her for me to go up there every hour and say hi, because she doesn't know why I'm then leaving again for a long period of time. And it also didn't give our childcare the opportunity to build their relationship with her and bond with her. I was making it really hard on them because I kept coming in and momming and checking in. And so I think once I figured out what that dynamic was going to look like, and that probably took a month. It probably took my whole first month back to work to figure out what times I could actually make it work to pump. I ended up pumping way more than breastfeeding.
Okay.
And that just is something that I had to let go, that I didn't want to. But I breastfed in the morning, and as soon as I got off work, the timing worked out that I got to do a bunch before the end of the day. But just with my schedule, I had to adapt to what work was going to look like for us. And that was tough, but it ended up being fine, and she's fine. And you realize that these kids can really quickly mold to what we need it to be as we go back to work.
Yeah. I know a big thing I struggled in, being a full-time working mom is just that guilt that comes with that a little bit. And I think there's also something out there I might have read that was saying, and I have a friend who grew up with both working parents, and she's one of the most like humbled, hardworking people, and having that as an example too was because of those parents. And they still, like, even though they're working, when they're home, they're so present with their children. And obviously I take that and do the same. But for moms that are struggling with that mindset and everything, what advice would you give them?
My cousin gave me this advice as soon as I went back to work, that it is quality over quantity as soon as you're a working mom. And I think that completely changed it for me, that I understand I'm not going to get the same amount of hours, but the hours that you do get, you ideally make it really, really count. And so like a rule that we have in this house is when I'm off work, I get about 2.5 hours before my husband's off work, where it's just Cece and I don't have my cell phone. Like, if anyone needs me, I can handle it later. I can handle it tomorrow, but I don't want her to see when I'm home, I'm a half version of myself. Like, this is my time with her. So I will leave my phone downstairs, and it's just me and her basically until she goes to bed. She doesn't see me on my laptop. She doesn't see me on my phone. And that's been really nice. And then on the weekends, I always want to find a version of a memory that we can make together, and like really investing in the time together on the weekends when you get the whole day. Because again, what we might think is a mundane Saturday, like that's their entire childhood. And that's how they're going to remember their parents in those little moments. And so we really try to think every day, can you do something with them? And it doesn't have to be something crazy. Like, you don't need to go to the zoo. It could just be going for a walk or like blowing bubbles in the backyard, but making sure that she gets those moments with us as much as possible, fully present as parents. And I think that has really helped maybe some of the personal guilt I feel when I'm at work and not getting to, you miss some moments naturally. And that's okay, because you can make up for it on the hours that you're not working.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we live in such a different world now with phones and even like trying to capture everything. It's to truly unplug and put it away and have that present time. I agree. It just makes such a difference and really does build, like, the kids are going to watch and grow up and watch what you're doing. So, it's like if you are on your phone, that's what they're going to see. And they're going to, be like that too. Maybe one day, monkey see, monkey do, right?
Yeah.
So
they say it's not what you say. It is exactly the actions. It is what you do. So if you're at the dinner table and you're telling them no phone when they're 14, but for the first 5-6 years, they saw both parents on their phone the entire time. I think people don't realize how intuitive these babies are. They're watching every single thing you're doing, even though they can't vocalize it to you yet. And so that's something that we've really practiced too, is like dinner time is dinner time. Even now when she's sitting at the edge playing with her food, like, she needs to see us having conversations and playing with her. We'd play music a lot during dinner time, so it feels really fun. And yeah, like what are we going to hold her accountable to? We need to hold ourselves accountable to first.
I love that. Last thing I want to go over, and then we can go into rapid fire, but something I've struggled in as a working mom is building that, dinner meal around the family, both me and my husband. How are you guys balancing that, especially on the days when you are so tired? Are you ordering out every once in a while? Like, what does that look like to still create that, at the end of the day, family dinner together?
That has been really, really hard.
Yeah, okay. Not just me.
It's not just you. Honestly, I was just telling somebody the other day, I think I've lost like 6 pounds this month because we forget to eat. And that's something that we're really working on is that I will make sure she has her meals and we will sit down with her during mealtime. But we are really trying to work on how to like all eat the same meals together.
Us too.
But it's not a perfect system, and I do think that's okay.
Yeah.
Because she also has an earlier bedtime, so she likes to go to bed at 6:30. So that means we're eating at 5. If my husband's not off work till 5:30, he'll typically pause so he can like eat dinner when she eats dinner.
Right.
But then sometimes we end up actually eating dinner after she goes down to bed.
Right. Yeah.
But a couple things that have helped us, because that is probably the hottest topic in our house right now. Meal prep is a game changer. We're doing it today. Grocery delivery has been a lifeline for us because we cannot seem to get out of the house to get groceries. So we grocery delivery and we discuss what are the 4 meals that are non-negotiable we're having in our house this week, and we'll prep all of them today. And so that's really helped just mentally taking the load off, because I think that's where I've struggled the most. You get off work and then it's what's for dinner. And if I haven't already thought about it, then I start to go into like panic mode. Versus if on Sunday when I'm not in my workflow, I can ask myself like, what are my meals for the entire week? And then also give yourself grace on there is going to be a day where it's just not going to happen and you can order takeout, and that's okay. We typically will do that. 4 meals at home, 1 meal at takeout. I also like to bring her places a lot. I think it's really good for her development. So we've been doing Wednesday is family date night.
And we'll
leave and go out eat together. And that also forces us to close the laptops on time at least once a week, no matter what, so that we're like making some memory together.
Aw, I love that. Do you have any recipes that you look at that you'd recommend for those 4 meals a week in prepping that you really like?
Oh, yeah. I mean, every week we do, what are we doing this week? I do a lot of pre-cooked shredded chicken. I think the Instant Pot is a lifeline for us.
Okay.
So that I can make a bunch of shredded chicken and then be able to put it into different recipes. So like today I'm going to shred a bunch of chicken in chicken broth. I'm going to cook a bunch of quinoa in chicken broth, and I'm going to steam a bunch of broccoli. That will be all set. And then that will turn into a taco night.
Okay.
It will turn into a pasta night. It will turn into maybe like a Mexican lasagna night. She loves Mexican lasagna. And so I do all the little pieces.
Okay.
So it's really easy
to throw it
together.
That's
Luckily,
smart.
like, fingers crossed, I know it's going to change, but she's not a picky eater right now.
Yeah.
She loves stir fry. That's her favorite food.
Okay.
And so if you think about it, stir fry is really the kitchen sink of whatever you need to mix together. So I'll do like a Mexican stir fry, an Asian stir fry, an Indian stir fry.
Right.
And you're getting your vegetables, good healthy proteins to make sure that you're keeping your energy up. And it's a different flavor for her, and it's getting her really comfortable with more exotic flavors has been a big focus of mine, and she loves it. So easy prep, takes 10 minutes once everything's pre-cooked, and it looks like a great dinner for the family.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, you'll have to send me whatever you use because I need it. So we're going to end this session with a rapid fire. So you just answer which one you prefer.
Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Favorite way to recharge?
Going for a walk.
One parenting hack you swear by?
The Lalo high chair.
One work productivity tip?
I get my work done at night so that in the morning when there's chaos, the kids and waking up, I'm not stressed out about starting my day because I've done all my prep work at night.
Ooh, I love that. One thing every new mom should stop feeling guilty about?
Being perfect. Nobody is perfect. I think social media has really made it seem like we are always doing something wrong or we're not enough. I think just being with your kid is enough. There's no perfect toy that you need to buy. Yeah.
I love that. Fill in the blank. Motherhood has taught me.
Patience.
And then last question, what does glow and grow mean to you?
I think that understanding that becoming a mom means there's a completely different version of yourself, and that is beautiful in glowing into this new really awesome mom version. And also just realizing that you are going to grow in so many different ways, and just to be proud of that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming on, Ashley. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
That was so fun.